Hello, traders. Cousin Benny coming to you from theclosingprint.com, Sunday, the 9th of June, 2024. In this edition of your weekend video newsletter, we'll discuss the NVDA split, which will go into effect this weekend. In addition to market levels, which remain unchanged on Friday, small caps continued a pattern of pain, with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ above their volatility triggers. So we'll start the week on a neutral footing, with 7 bullish indicators, 7 neutral, and 6 bearish to start the week. The S&P 500 made a new all-time high on Friday in the evening session, right around 1 o'clock, yet remain above the volatility trigger at 5,300. That lines up with the 9 and 21 day moving averages. So long as we stay above 5,300, we're bullish. With the drop below would be a test of the 21 day, and we'd get a bit more bearish if that were to happen this week. In addition, the NASDAQ 100 remained near all-time highs as bulls and bears seem to be in agreement above 19,000. Along with the New York FANG Index, 10 stocks that seem to be in agreement as well. 921 day, 50, 200 day are all moving up and to the right. Price action staying in a narrow range. A push above the breakout level obviously would be bullish. A move below the 9 or 21 day, we'd look for a bounce. A loss of those two would be more bearish, looking for a pullback into the recent range. For now, we are bullish to neutral. Small caps, however, did see the most pain, with all 9 sectors moving lower. Only 3 remained above their weekly 10 EMA, with small cap energy taking the biggest hit, down more than 6% on the week, while small cap healthcare, small cap consumer discretionary, and small cap materials remained above their bullish 10 EMA weekly. Therefore, with small caps bearish, we want to be a bit more cautious as IBB also turns down and Bitcoin finds a base. We need these risky asset classes to turn back up, along with the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline, to give us more of a risk-on signal. For now, we're neutral to slightly bearish. In this regard, while junk bonds remain above the 50-day moving average, we did see something of a hammer or hanging man candle as buyers stepped up towards the end of the day. Look for this to move higher if you're bullish, lower if you're bearish. Finally, we see breadth pulling back with the advanced decline percent for the S&P 500, mid caps, small caps, and NASDAQ in descending order, all pointing a bit lower. This is a short-term indicator. This could very well turn up on the NVIDIA split reaction to start the week. For now, we would be more neutral and wait for good signals as we start trading on Monday morning. Contrary to the bullish and neutral signals that we have to start the week, we do have bearish signals in the 10-year yield, bouncing markedly on Friday, in addition to what we saw in the US dollar, together giving us more caution signals. If these start to move higher, that would be bearish to start the week. Nat gas continues its monthly surge. For the past 3 months, this has been moving higher, while at the same time, crude oil and gasoline pretty much in a range in the lower half, with lower gasoline prices at the pump this weekend. If these continue lower, that would help to offset the strength that we're seeing in the US dollar and the 10-year. Yet, taken together, we'll start the week with 7 bullish indicators, 7 neutral, and 6 bearish. So this is telling you to be neutral and keep an open mind to start trading on Monday. In addition, one of our bearish indicators is the ratio between consumer discretionary, XLY, and consumer staples, XLP, what people don't need versus what people absolutely need. When this is moving lower, that's bearish for equities, even though we're at all-time highs. and have mostly neutral or bullish indicators, we have to be aware that we have a headwind in the US dollar, the 10-year, IBB, IWM, and now this particular indicator. While these are short term and the market's at all-time highs, we need to keep an eye on 5,300 on the S&P 500, if nothing else, as we start the week with a neutral signal and looking for direction as we start Monday trading. With this in mind, we'll be very interested to see how semiconductors and technology fare. They're both above the 21-day. Do they fade back to the 21-day, or do we see a positive response to the NVDA split? And watch for these to move higher. That's yet to be known. So to start the week, we want to be neutral and just keep an eye out on direction to start Monday trading. Starting off, we have the IBD 50 with fewer names that look like they could follow through. Most of the IBD 50 are overbought. We've got stochastics drifting a bit lower along with RSI. These stocks are either from the IBD 50 list or scans that I ran over the weekend with the stocks with the asterisk, looking for more follow through this week with the markets in a neutral positioning. What I'd be looking for is RSI rising and stochastics oversold and turning, like we see with Arista Networks, ANET. Bollinger Bands are fairly tight. It's above the green line, the 50-day moving average. So a move back to either Bollinger Band makes sense. We're with support at the 50-day, watching RSI on Monday, stochastics turning. Watch for MACD. That might give us a clue if volume starts to pick up and we get high relative volume to start the day. We also saw ARM Holdings moving higher. Remember, we did see strength in SMH above its 21-day moving average along with tech last week. So if we do see semiconductors continue this grind higher, we do have a bullish setup with 921.50 up and to the right. Volume is a little suspect with NVIDIA splitting. We'll see how that is received by the markets on Monday. But for now, semiconductors and tech are still showing strength. Note the volume by price bands over here on the left. That's major support below, which line up with the 9 and 21-day below. 50-day is down here at the lower Bollinger Band. We could test that upper band. Do note that RSI is rising, telling you strength of the trend is still persistent. Stochastics and MACD are fairly bullish. Volume looks good, so it all depends on how the markets start on Monday after the NVIDIA 10-for-1 split. Google appears to be tracing out a base at highs, so that one is something that we'll be watching for this week. The one thing that caught my attention was the volume over the last 3 or 4 weeks. With the company not reporting until July 25th, really nice revenue growth, 15%, earnings growth of 61.5%. So it'd be nice to see how Google traces out this week. If it's still a base, it is a double top. Bollinger Bands are narrowing, so it might be setting up for something that we'll watch this week for a potential bounce or more consolidation. While travel and leisure stocks do show some strength, we were watching Make My Trip, also basing near highs with Bollinger Bands narrowing, with additional travel and leisure stocks like cruise lines, Royal Caribbean at highs, airlines like Delta right on the 50-day, been basing at that level. Does it bounce to the 50-day? RSI is at 50, stochastics MACD, potential for turns there. So maybe there's something in the travel and leisure group with TNL basing along this area around 42, 43. That said, we did see strength in healthcare last week. Natera at all-time highs. We're watching RSI showing strength of trend. Stochastics and MACD turned up. We'd like to see more volume like we had over here in February. It's a company in the cell-free DNA testing industry with good revenue growth of 52% and earnings growth of 54.5%. This one's a potential candidate for a follow-through. All depends on how price action traces out on Monday. Bollinger Bands are pretty tight, so we'd be looking for a break to the upside or a retracement back to the 50-day. Either way, this looks pretty good. Healthcare group showing strength. Additional names in the healthcare group, Sarepta Therapeutics. Nice bounce on Friday. I don't know if that is any indication we might see a follow through, a test of the 50-day and the upper Bollinger Bands, but RSI is rising, stochastics and MACD turning as well, which could be indicative of a potential follow through. We have Oscar Health also with a hammer on Friday. Need RSI to turn up, but this is looking pretty good. Stochastics MACD turning. The volume is the only thing that's suspect, so we'll see if this bounces at all on Monday, as it did show up on an oversold scan and is on the IBD 50. Additionally, this is something we noted last week, the strength in storage-related names as more families move out of blue states to red states. We're seeing strength in the building and construction industries down where we live in Myrtle Beach. So I'm not surprised to see pure storage showing strength. Banks and financials also saw some strength with JP Morgan bouncing off the 50-day moving average. Could see more consolidation here, but it's something we'll be watching nonetheless. Along with strength in Bank of America grinding higher, heavily related to the mortgage industry as well. In addition, we're looking at internet security stocks like Zscaler, which got a lot of good press over the last week or so. Motley Fool talking about Zscaler. Market Watch, there were several analysts that were bullish on the stock. Look for it to get back above the 200-day moving average. It's been 3 months since earnings last time around. We're looking for a follow-through this week. Along with the strength that we're seeing in CrowdStrike for the past 3 trading days, look for a breakout. Along with the double bottom in CyberArk, looking for that to push above the 50-day, test that upper Bollinger Band. RSI is rising, volume picking up, MACD and stochastics crossing over and turning more bullish, along with its brethren, Palo Alto Networks, bouncing off the 50-day moving average. This might be one that you want to take a look at this week. Stochastics, MACD turning, volume starting to pick up, probably leading to a test of the 21-day on Monday if we don't go right through it, and a test of the 50 and a test of the upper Bollinger Bands in the short term as RSI shows the strength of trend is improving. Okay, traders, that's going to do it for me. This is Because of Any coming to you from theclosingprint.com on Sunday, the 9th of June, 2024. I'll send out a watch list later tonight around 12 midnight on the East Coast, around 9 o'clock on the West Coast, so be sure to check your inbox for that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to get outside and enjoy time with my son. It's his 14th birthday yesterday, so have a great weekend, what's left of it, and we'll see you in the morning. Take care.